Well, hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to the channel. Well, after 14 months, we have finally got to the end of Season 1 of Star Trek Prodigy, and it did not disappoint. What a great first season for a Star Trek series this one was. And the finale was amazing. Entitled Supernova Part 2, we pretty much followed on from where our last episode left off, and it was the story about how our heroes in the Protostar were going to defeat the Construct, save Starfleet, and hopefully by the end be potentially accepted into Starfleet Academy. And we kind of ticked all those boxes. This episode I thought was a really emotional one. I had a bit of a lump in my throat for some of the moments in this episode. It was really quite touching. We had quite a few farewells in this episode from leading characters, which, I think pulled on the heartstrings. And I think overall it did a really good job at wrapping up the end of the first season of the show. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Fanatics yet, please don't be shy to do so. Click on that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. So after the end of the last episode, where all of our Starfleet ships were warping in and they were getting infected by the virus and they started shooting on each other, the Protostar crew pretty much realized that the only way they're going to defeat this construct is to destroy the ship, blow up the protocore, which will wipe out the construct, therefore saving Starfleet. And they work out that they pretty much have to do this, but it's going to be a pretty big explosion, and they need to get away from there as fast as they can in order to blow it up. But Rock works out that they can kind of minimize the damage to subspace if they sort of spread the explosion over sort of space and time. When I kind of heard this, I thought, oh yeah, space and time, it's going to create some sort of spatial rift or something. And sure enough, that was in fact the case. We see hologram Janeway basically putting up her hand to be the one to activate the breach or whatever, destroy the ship, and pilot it out of there, enabling our other heroes on board the Protostar to take a shuttle, which they manufacture in the vehicle replicator in the cargo bay of the Protostar to see them safely out of there before the ship is destroyed. They obviously think that there's a chance that Janeway is going to copy her program onto a isolinear chip, but however, her program has become too big and too complex for that to happen, and she kind of basically tells them a bit of a fib to say, yep, here I am, I'm on the chip. They let her go and obviously realise later on that she's not on the chip after all, and it's just a recorded message. And we get a really nice, I think, farewell where she sort of has a bit of a speech to our main heroes there, talking about how proud of them she is and saying her sort of last goodbyes, which I think was quite a touching scene. We had some really tender moments in this episode, from Janeway taking the helm of the Protostar to see it destroyed, to save everybody and sacrificing herself for the good of the many. There were some really nice moments of sort of emotion and grandeur as well in this episode, which was really good to wrap up the season. We see Janeway take the ship, gets destroyed, and at the same time creates the rift, the mysterious rift that matches the signature to the rift that obviously Chakotay and the rest of the people of the Varna Cut used to get the Protostar, get the Diviner and whatnot back, back in time. There's a little bit of bookendedness there in terms of the creation of that wormhole now having an explanation, because I guess this rift or wormhole that's been created spans the 50-year period between when Chakotay abandoned the Protostar and the Protostar ending up back when it did at the Tars Lamora asteroid. So it's sort of a nice circular kind of pattern of storytelling, which sort of I thought was a nice way to explain those little bits and pieces that hadn't been explained in terms of that temporal element that Chakotay was involved in. So the Protostar is destroyed, and along with it the construct there, so it's wiped out. All of the ships that were firing on each other in that big battle sequence, they all sort of power down or return to their original status with the construct destroyed. And we do a little bit of a time jump to a month in the future, where we're back at Starfleet headquarters at San Francisco, and our heroes have kind of just arrived back at Starfleet there, and there's a little bit of a tribunal scene there with sort of the Starfleet top brass working out what exactly they're going to do with them, whether they need to press charges or whether they're going to be kind of let off with a bit of a slap on the wrist. But inevitably we kind of know what's going to go on, and we know they kind of get a bit of a slap on the wrist and say, yeah, okay, we get it, you're okay, we'll let you have a pass on this one. And Janeway obviously goes to bat for the crew at the tribunal, which is a great scene, and involves a nice speech there from Janeway, which is quite rousing and everything. A lot of these nice big rousing moments in this episode. to pull on the heartstrings, giving us a few hairs standing up on your arm moments or lump in the throat moments. I think that they did a really good job of that. And obviously we get the debate there as to whether they're going to let our crew join Starfleet Academy or not, or what the deal is there. And obviously there's some rules to go along with that and everything, and they can't just, open the doors wide. They've got to sort of get through all their checks and balances and everything, and they can't jump the queue from all the other applicants and everything who are wanting to get into Starfleet Academy as well. And we find out that 5 out of our 6 Protostar crew members are going to be getting in. A little bit of a sort of a field promotion to sort of pseudo crew members, maybe a little bit in the same way that Wesley Crusher initially became part of the Enterprise crew. He didn't go to Starfleet Academy. He was on board the ship. He was kind of given acting ensign type duties. And it kind of seems like our Protostar crew are kind of going along that same path, with all of them joining Admiral Janeway on her new ship, whatever that is going to be, except for Gwyn. She leaves the group. She's going back to Solom, the Val Nakot homeworld, to try to, maybe drop a few seeds of advice that one day when Starfleet does, in fact, make first contact, to try to guide them in the right direction so that they don't all go crazy and end up in some massive civil war, which is what happened the first time around. So she's going to do her best to try to, nudge her people in the right direction. So, good on you, Gwyn. We get a sense at the end that Rock is heading along more of the xenobiology kind of lines of science. She obviously does such a great job with Murph. They've sort of say, hey, how about you sort of go into this area of science, which she seems pretty keen on. We see Zero getting a brand new suit. He's now looking very, very spiffy in his new white outfit with Zero, less bashed together kind of outfit. Kind of looks a bit like Atlas from the Valve game Portal, I think now, in his new outfit. Whether there was any kind of issue there with riots from Paramount, I don't know, but yeah, very, very similar kind of look to that character now that he's got his new outfit on there. We get a really touching farewell scene between Gwyn and Dal, where they kind of say their goodbyes to each other, have a little moment there together, and wonder whether they're going to, ever see each other again. So that was kind of a touching moment. And we get to find out that there is a new Protostar being built. It is no longer a prototype. It is a new one is coming off the production line, which is the first of the Protostar class. So it won't have an NX serial number or registration number. It'll have probably an NCC registration number, but we have yet to find out the name of the of this new ship, and whether this will in fact be the ship that Admiral Janeway and our crew venture out on for season 2, or whether it will be something else. I'm guessing it will be the new Protostar class vessel, fresh off the production line, and I wouldn't be surprised if they call it the USS Prodigy. I think that is a distinct likelihood. Unless it's called the USS Protostar A, I would maybe put my money on the USS Prodigy perhaps. So I'm just throwing that out there. All in all, I thought this was a fantastic last episode of the season. It's taken over a year for us to get there, because obviously we had the first half of the season broken up significantly from the second half of the season. So it took 14 months in all for us to get from the start to the finish of the show. But what a show. What a show this is. It's not just for kids. A Star Trek series everybody can enjoy. Just because it's animated doesn't limit its appeal. I really enjoyed it. I think it was fantastic. And I can't wait for season 2 to come our way. I'm guessing sometime in the second half of 2023. But guys, let me know what you think. Leave a thought in the comments section, and let me know what your impressions and thoughts were on this season finale episode of Star Trek Prodigy, and what your overall thoughts were on the whole of the on the first season of the show. Don't be shy about subscribing if you haven't already done so, and by all means check out my other videos and leave a super thanks if you're able to. It really helps the channel out, much appreciated. And also check out my merch in the merch store, link is in the description. You check out all my cool Star Trek themed t-shirts and hoodies and mugs and caps and stickers and all that sort of stuff. It's all there, and there's always a sale going on for some really great prices. I'll catch you guys very soon with my next video. I'll see you soon.